Hey everyone, glad to see you again on the channel. This is Rich making another movie about XRP today. As always, I hope everyone is having a great day today, no matter where they are in the world. We're going to talk about XRP. Let me start with this from Ash Crypto. If you want to make $1 million in crypto, remember this easy rule: never give up. Getting to your goals is possible, though it may take some time. Stay away from meme coins and dealing on margin. This type of trade can quickly wipe you out. You might lose all of your meme coins. Check out all the rug pulls that happen with meme coins. You can see what's going on right now if you have something like XRP. The switch to digital could already be seen. You know what will happen in the future. You know, the day you bought XRP was a good day because you won the lottery. Now there's nothing left for you to do. Don't sell too soon or when the price is going down. Having XRP in your possession changes the way you think about being patient. When someone asks, "Are you patient?" you only need to say, "I own XRP," because you can handle anything. You've been through the worst. You don't mind red day at all. You know you're not going to do anything, so why bother? You're not going to sell when the price drops. But a lot of people will have to be very patient. If you buy an XRP, it will make you very patient. And Jeff Bezos said, "You can work hard for 4 years and get nothing done, but in the 5th year, you'll be the biggest thing in the world." There is real power in not letting up. If you're an investor in cryptocurrencies and you buy XRP during a weak market, you know you'll keep it for a long time. But there are still some people who don't get that. Back in 2022, 2023, and 2024, when I bought on the dips every time, I knew that this money would be locked away for a while. But the hard work you do during a bad market makes the good times come later. You're almost done. If you are an investor in crypto, now is not the time to give up. It is said that Brad Garlinghouse's life is in danger. The CEO of Ripple has the key to breaking up the global banking cartel. Now Brad's name is flashing red in smart people's minds. That makes no sense to me, because Brad hasn't been heard from on X in a while. All of a sudden, he's somewhere hidden. The government is after him. You know that Ripple would keep going even if something happened to Brad. XRP keeps going. The plan is still moving forward. Along with that, the train is still moving. The rich see Ripple as the way of the future. A group of wealthy people put Brad at all of those places where they talk about international payments, the future of money, and the internet of value. But I'm sure Brad will come back to X and make another post soon. Moving to break, on August 18th, 200 million XRP worth more than $606 million was sent from Ripple to a bank that no one knew about. Is this the beginning of a big change for XRP? A big plan is being made behind the scenes. You know, no one thinks about the possibility that Ripple is buying something else. Listen to Brad out here. As you know, we've been very lucky to be able to grow the business on our own. Off the record, we're also looking at acquisitions with more of an open mind that this is actually an industry that can grow in the US, the world's biggest industry. And I still think the business world isn't taking the change from hurdles to tailwinds seriously enough. People don't realize how important that is going to be. Finally, the US market can be used by anyone. Taking this into account, it sounds like you want to make deals more than an IPO right now. After that, what do you want to buy and how big are you willing to go? I'm not going to name names, but look, at its core, Ripple is a company that builds the base for blockchains. Most of the businesses that buy our products are banks, but we'll also look. When XRP moves from Ripple, everyone always thinks it's being dumped on the XRP community. That's not true, though. Ripple uses that XRP in a smart way to make it more useful over time. Raoul says that XRP could make buyers in the top 1% by 2030. It is going to happen before 2030. Raoul thinks that XRP and other digital assets will help people get rich. He thinks that the value of crypto will reach $20 to $50 trillion this decade. He didn't just say XRP, though. He said it could put wealthy people in the top 1%. That's likely to happen by 2028. Personally, I believe that by 2028, most people who have at least 1,000 XRP will be wealthy. That person will either cash out all of their XRP at that point, or you will be getting idle income every month from it. Most people think that formal adoption will happen in the next 24 months. Adoption by most stores within the next 36 months. I still think that will also be sped up. I think that by 2028, most people who own XRP will be retired. In that case, most of them won't be in the 1% because they'll have sold their whole bag too soon. I think that only 1% to 5% of people who own XRP make it to the point where it's really valuable. People will sell XRP as soon as the price hits $10, so most people will already be out of it. More people will buy when it gets to $20, $100, more people will sell, and so on. People who hold on to at least some of their bag until 2028 will be glad they did, though, because you can already see the shift. This is caused by smoke, the natural change that will happen in banking, and the move of global financial systems from gold standards to blockchain technology. So you can see that the US dollar had value before 1971 when it was on the gold standard, value backed by real gold money that can be exchanged directly for gold reserves, which builds trust and security, 1971. The end of the gold standard and the collapse of Bretton Woods led to the current banking 1.0 decentralized asset-backed stablecoin infrastructure that is fast, stable, and efficient. Instant payments and low fees for systems based on blockchain. Banking 2.0 is a decentralized asset-backed stablecoin system that provides speed, efficiency, and security. Blockchain-based solutions with instant settlement and minimal fees. Banking 1.0 is being changed to Banking 2.0. And that change will be like flipping a switch when it happens because we are moving from the current system to a digital system that is not centralized at all. This was going to happen. For those who don't know, this has been going on for years, even before any of us got into crypto. This has been going on since 2004. 2009 is the year Bitcoin comes out. This is the test coin. Bitcoin was looked forward to by many, but it did not work out. Next came XRP, which is the real Bitcoin. Here's why XRP didn't go through the roof after the SEC dropped its case against Ripple. Due to the fact that it was news and rumors, people need to understand that prices go up a little when news comes out quickly. But then people figure out that this doesn't really add anything. Not yet. That's going to be next. The first step will be acceptance by institutions. We might find out who some of those NDAs were with. Ripple has non-disclosure agreements with some businesses. I'm sure those companies will be eager to say that they've been working with Ripple behind the scenes for years, but the value hasn't shown up yet. This isn't even the end of XRP's price drops. It will take some time for them to get better. I believe the case came to an end, and you also need rules. XRP will never be a security, so both of these things must happen. However, the institutions are not ready to say that they've been, arcing with Ripple until rules are in place, not until things are clear. At that point, both the real recovery of XRP and the acceptance by institutions will happen at the same time. But the CEO of Ethereum thinks that Ripple will lead international banking. So he asked the executive what Ripple should do with its 40 billion XRP now that they've applied to become a bank. Many people think that they just put that on their balance sheet to get their banking license and become one of the world's 20 best capitalized banks. Then a lot of people read that line and thought that Ripple was going to buy back all of our XRP. That's not at all what he meant. He means that the trust will be used as a different word for it. It will end up on their balance sheet. The trust company is no longer going to sell all of that stuff. Just that would make XRP more valuable. What he then said was that when Swift breaks down and ISO 222 kicks in, all the switches and NDAs they talk about come to life. You'll start to hear banks say things like, we moved this much of your money on the blockchain ledger. We also did this much on Swift. Also, Bitcoin is going up and Swift is going down. That seems important to me. I believe that what he sees could be a network effect. That is, these banks will say things like, we've already done this on the blockchain for this amount of money and in this amount of time. The banks that were still working with Swift suddenly saw this and realized, hey, those banks have an advantage over us because they're working with Ripple. All of a sudden, they will also shift. I think that's what the CEO of Ethereum thinks is going on. As I already said, the fast buyers aren't happy. They don't want to have to wait days for the money to move. They no longer want to pay the high fees. They will use the other option instead if it's available, especially if other banks are already doing it. In this way, you will be a part of the 1% by 2028 since the change is already taking place. It's been going on for years, and many of those banks are still trying Ripple. This means they will come out during the testing phase and start being talked about in the major news outlets. As we watch that happen, all of a sudden the switch will be flipped. And I agree with Ethereum's CEO because I've been watching this too and telling you about it. I told you over and over that it might be 300 banks now. There will soon be 1,000 banks. After that, 3,000 banks. Before you knew it, Ripple had taken the place of Swift. It will happen soon. Stay patient and hopeful until it does happen, and let's get rich together. That being said, I'm going to end this film. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Good night.